Happy Halloweeny, everybody. We're closing out Clowntober here, and Rob and I, we have a guest, and we're sitting in the Great Pumpkin Patch. Linus,
Charlie Brown's an asshole.
Yes, Charlie.
I got to say it.
You got to say it this time. Anyway, we have a special guest to round off Clowntober, is Adrian Esposito, local, what would you call yourself? Filmmaker, producer, director, writer, all of the above?
Jack of all trades.
Just filmmaker. Local filmmaker.
Because I looked on IMDb, you have a lot of, writing, directing, even a couple acting credits.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to have to see if I can find these movies and pick you out. For those that have been listening, you might remember Adrian stopped in when we were down at the Hamlin Scream Fest and gave us a little bit of time. Interesting guy. We thought we'd have him in studio for, a little longer interview.
He was not murdered by chaos.
He was not murdered by chaos because at the time he was dressed as Michael Myers. So we're going to talk. He has a new project coming out. What is it? Special Needs Revolt. We mentioned it briefly on the podcast before. So if you want, give us a little more on the upcoming and Special Needs Revolt. And I know you have a fundraiser for it. So the floor is yours, my friend.
So, Special Needs Revolt, first of all, the campaign on Indiegogo, there's only, I think, 17 or 16 days left on the campaign on Indiegogo. So if anyone's wants to put their donations in, now's the time, because I think sometime in November 6th or 5th it ends officially on Indiegogo. But basically, Special Needs Revolt is a political satire, and the main character has Down syndrome, and he's an action hero.
So, I mean, and I watched, when you told me, I watched the sizzle reel. It almost kind of looks like a kind of a Rambo type-ish movie.
Yeah.
It's basically, a Down syndrome Rambo with, and it's a local actor, I remember, and I forgot his name, Steve?
Sam Dyer.
Sam. Good God, I'm terrible at names, and I apologize, Sam, if you're listening. But looking over your stuff, you do a lot of documentaries. Where did the love of the documentary type films come from for you?
Well, at first it was just getting people's stories out there, and getting information to people. But now that I'm almost 30 years old, I feel that I really need to move on to make narrative films, because some people, as I learned, generally they're not really interested in documentaries. They just, they see them and it's like, But basically, another reason I was doing documentaries for such a long time, because it was a very easy and not a very stressful or hard way to make movies. Because all you do is you sit the person down, you pay for the stock footage or whatever, you get the footage, the rights and stuff, and that's that, and the music. But now I think I'm ready to try to do something a little more stressful, a little more something that's a crowd pleaser, and something that I think will open doors for the disability community to be in these schlocky movies.
Well, you did say the star has Down syndrome, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I noticed, looking at some of the stuff you've done, you do a lot of stuff in regards to people with developmental disabilities. What the one that just came out, Diffability Hollywood, about actors with, like, big name actors with developmental disabilities.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks interesting. I think it's on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. You can watch it.
Yeah, I
kind
of want to watch that one. But
I enjoy documentaries because I enjoy this story in me. I guess I love to see how things are put together. But do you have any documentarians that influenced you, that you saw these and said, "Wow, I want to do that"?
Well, that's a hard question. I would say it just evolved over time. Seeing different ones, and the art form of doing it and the style of doing documentaries. Like before, I would narrate them, but with Greetings from Tromaville, my latest documentary film, I just decided to have Lloyd tell the story and other people without hearing my voice, because that would add more time and stuff.
And I have to say, I've seen Greetings from Tromaville. That's also on Amazon Prime. That was cool as hell.
What do you think of Troma? You have the shirt
Yeah,
on.
I mean, you've got the Troma shirt on. You're rocking Toxie. You did a documentary on Tromaville. Where did you first kind of run across Troma movies? If you remember.
I first ran across Troma. Well, before that, it was the TV with Toxic Crusaders and this other show called Mutant League, which I loved.
I never heard of that.
I never heard of Mutant League.
Yeah, it was back in the early '90s.
Because I remember the Toxic Crusaders. That's actually
how many
on the
Toxic Avengers movies has there been? I know there's Last Temptation of Toxie.
Well, there was 4, if I'm remembering correctly, because there's a box set, the complete Tox box. It's all 4 of the Toxic Avenger movies plus the Toxic Crusaders.
Yeah.
I think there was the original 2, 3 I think was Last Temptation of Toxie, and 4 was Citizen Toxie.
I still love Eat and Run with Murray Creature. It was this movie with Ron Silver, and he's this alien, and he visits this alien. He looks almost like the guy from the Terror of the Baldies or something. And he just eats people and everything. It's called Eat and Run.
Well, that's. And people forget a lot of big names started in
Class
Troma
of
movies.
Nukem High.
Yeah, but a lot like Kevin Costner was in a Troma movie. Sizzle Beach USA. Vincent D'Onofrio was in a Troma movie.
Yeah, the First Turn On.
That's it. Yeah, the South Park guys.
Yeah, Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah, did Cannibal the Musical, which I own and is goddamn hilarious.
Yeah, and Samuel Jackson before he went on to do the Right Thing and Pulp Fiction. All that. His first movie, production began in 87, 88, was Death by Temptation.
Oh, I love that movie, actually.
Really? I didn't know
Yes, it's a vampire movie.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, I don't know who the director or anybody was to it, but I really enjoyed that movie. I think Ellen Payne was in it, I think. Somebody like that.
Yeah, the guy who played Radio from Do the Right Thing was in it, that big guy.
Oh, God. Note to
seen
self,
it
find that movie.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've seen it. Have you seen
Amazon
it?
Prime. Yeah.
No, I've never seen it.
I
Okay,
enjoyed that one. It's a
on
vampire movie, but
it's on Amazon. I'm checking that one out later today.
Yeah, so that's a Troma distributed that movie, but unfortunately with the DVD that you buy, they got it off of TV, and it's like it goes to black, and you wait, and then plus they censor some of the curse words out, and some of the scenes are cut. So
some of that's funny though when they censor the curse words out and they say something ridiculous.
My favorite was the old, and I swear to God this happened. But nobody remembers it besides me. It was when they were playing Die Hard on TBS or something. Instead of the Yippee-Ki-Yay motherfucker, it was Yippee-Ki-Yay Mr. Falconer.
And actually,
nobody remembers that but me.
First time I ever saw Samuel
Jackson,
Jackson, I think, was in National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 2.
No, 1.
They
never made it 2.
Oh, didn't they say that, though? It wasn't a joke title?
No, but it was him and... Was it Emilio Estevez?
It's he'd make the weird faces and Shatner eat the goldfish.
Yeah. That was, and I'm pretty sure Tim Curry was in that movie as well.
Oh, he's the bad guy, I think.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Kung Pao 2. Kung Pao Entered the...
Oh, that movie should have come out years ago. I know he was doing, who was it?
Christopher Walken was in, I know he's in that.
No, that was Balls of Fury.
Oh, Balls of Fury. Okay.
No, this was Steve Odenkirk.
Yeah, Steve Odenkirk, wasn't it?
Or no, it was some name like that.
Yeah, I know who you're talking. Yeah, but
he's been doing a fundraiser for years, and that movie was so funny.
Yeah, when I first saw it as a kid, I thought it was stupid, but when I saw it years later, it's like I got it. I got the jokes and all that.
Well, it's the thing because for those who have never seen, it's called Kung Pao Enter the Fist. It's a guy, he takes old 70s kung fu and samurai movies.
No, kung fu martial art movie.
And he
one.
Oh, yeah. And he dubs over it and splices himself into it. And it is so funny. It was one of those movies. Yeah, I was like you. The first time I saw it, I was like, what the hell is this? Then I watched it again, and I had to pause the movie several times because I thought I was going to pee myself. That's how hard I was laughing.
And I think Troma's got an interesting style. A lot of people try to do it and don't do it right. They do.
No,
But they make it too stupid.
Well, that's the problem. They have the right amount of weird, the right amount of gore, and the right amount of camp. And Troma has that blend, but other people that try to do it, it just kind of comes off as a train wreck.
That's the way I look at it. It's just it's a style that a lot of people. It's like the old Batman show where a lot of people tried it, couldn't get it right.
Well, what were some of your your favorite trauma movies?
Well, I do like Trauma's War. I like the Toxic Avenger and
Classic.
Sergeant Kabuki Man and YPG.
I own
Found it. Literally, we were looking for videos one time.
I got a copy of that on DVD from Record Archive.
Yeah,
Sergeant Kabuki Man.
I'm very, very good friends with the guy, Bill Whedon, who plays Regional Steward in that film.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to be playing, hopefully, if we get the money or in executive producers, he's going to be playing President Kruger in the Special Needs Revolt film.
Was he? I think he was in the sizzle reel, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in the sizzle
remember
reel.
that.
Yeah, that was the evil one from Kabuki Man.
I remember that. I've always liked, Class of Nukem High, Terror Firmer, Tromeo and Juliet.
Yeah, I like Terror Firmer too.
Was the stuff?
No, the stuff wasn't a trauma movie, I don't think, but it was a great movie. You ever see the stuff?
Yeah, I didn't. Wasn't my cup of tea.
Oh,
I mean, I like the idea of this food that like yogurt that kills you.
Yeah.
But the story and some of the characters I couldn't stand.
Well, we talked about this on our horror one. They made a movie about a killer turd. So,
Monster Turd.
so
Yeah.
of course he knows it.
And then there's a sequel to it called Retard Dead.
Yeah, Retard Dead.
Yep.
I saw that one, and then
Both of those are on YouTube for the whole things by the guy himself. He uploaded them.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then YouTube can't argue with it because it was him.
Yeah, I have to watch them.
Oh, they are so fun. Monster. It's about a killer who is bonded with shit, with poo, and he comes back to the town and he gets you through the toilet. But the problem is, literally, it's during the town's chili cook-off. That's the premise of it, and the tagline is, "Don't get caught with your pants down." Find it, 10 out of 10, movie of the year.
What do you think in terms of horror is like the silliest, besides the killer turd, obviously, the silliest concept for there's one about a killer wig in Japan.
Well, then there's Trauma. They distributed a movie called Killer Condom.
For those of you not seeing the visuals, Zach
I was
almost
trying to take a
spewed his
drink of something when Killer Condom came up because I remember that.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm.
You were like the angry condom. You got pissed off.
Oh God!
But Killer Condom, go on about it.
I've seen it. It's pretty. It's what it sounds like. Because I don't want to spoil it. Because come on, people.
Well, come on, it's but a killer rubber. I think.
No, you leave rubber out of this. That was an entirely different
Yeah,
movie
Killer
about
Tire.
the haunted tire.
Yeah, it's a haunted tire. You ever see that one? It's about you can get it.
Yeah, I heard of it. I haven't seen it yet.
Robert the Killer Tire.
Robert the Killer
I've
Tire.
not gotten royalties.
And you probably won't. How about the old the Thanksgiving movies?
Because I know if I wanted revenge, I would call up an evil turkey demon.
Oh yeah, and then there was Thanksgiving.
Was it Gobble Gobble motherfuckers?
Yes, it was.
Then there's Christmas Evil, which.
Christmas Evil. I watch that every year in December.
Do you know that's John Waters' favorite Christmas movie? John Waters is a Christmas nut. And
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I just like the fact
That's a trauma movie, too.
I like the fact. No, yeah, they distributed it on DVD. I don't know if they distributed the actual.
I just know I own it, and Lloyd Kaufman does the intro to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to see that now. But I know that in the movie, I remembered that they parodied Geraldo Rivera, the whole expo on the Willowbrook with State School of People with Disabilities.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was something.
But that was good. I like those holiday themed horror movies. You have the Christmas Evil.
There is one I think you should check out. I saw it at the New Jersey Horror Con, and I met the filmmaker, Mike Lombardio. I forgive me if I mispronounce your name. But he made a movie called I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday.
Ooh.
Which is, I saw that. It's really good. It's slow, and maybe kids wouldn't like it. But it's basically, it takes place on Christmas and after a nuclear holocaust or something, and they live in the basement, and the only way to go outside is to put on a mask, and it's very dangerous out there.
It's like a video game, like
Yeah.
Manhunter or
Yeah,
something.
I gotta find that one.
Because they don't show any like killer beasts, mutant beasts or anything, but they imply it. I'm not gonna give anything
I
away.
like that though. We were talking about that recently. You don't have that as much these days. It's all in your face.
Yeah,
It's
the
not that
psychological, the idea of it, that something could happen that's right off screen, but you never see.
But
So it leaves it up to the imagination of the
speaking of
viewer.
holidays, because Halloween's coming up, does anybody have favorite Halloween movies?
Well, for me, there was always, the Halloween movies themselves,
Yeah. When I was a kid, it's good. And it was originally John Carpenter was going to call it the Babysitter Murders, which wouldn't have had the same bite.
No, it wouldn't
Yeah,
have.
I'm gonna see on Tuesday, hopefully, with my friends, the new Halloween movie.
Well,
Yeah, I
I'm
know
supposed to
that
go
just
see
came
that
out.
actually, too.
I know that just came
I'm
out.
hoping it's going to be good. What did anybody think of Rob Zombie's remakes?
It was a different.
First one,
it was
second
a,
one, different opinion?
It was a different take on it.
I didn't see them, but I saw reviews like the Nostalgia Critic, Cinema Snob, where they go through it and make fun of it, and they look pretty bad.
Well, yes, I admit, speaking of
Especially the second one.
Speaking of John Waters again, if you ever have, because I like John Waters, so I have to bring him up. If you ever have novelizations of books, send it care of Atomic Books in Maryland. He collects them. But I have read the novelization of Halloween 2, and it gives away, spoiler alert, they try to imply Michael's actually possessed by the spirit of the Irish Lord of the Dead.
Well, for God's sake.
But some people pronounce it Sowan, Sam Hain, but English people pronounce it Sowan.
So on, or I was thought it was like
Sam
Shemaine.
Hain, yeah,
Shemaine.
Donald Pleasance in the second original Halloween, he said it was Sam Hain, but that's not how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
And then remember the good old they don't include them, the canon ones, the cheap Golden Globus movies with Halloween, like 3, 4, like 4, 5, 6,
yeah,
where they have that weird Celtic Celtic cult.
yeah.
Well, the sixth one is there was a cult around Michael that got a hold of Michael Myers, the Curse of Halloween. That was probably the worst. And the fifth one, I don't even consider 4, 5, and 6 part
They
of
don't
the
either.
series.
Yeah, no,
sort of
they've
forgot
kind
them.
of disavowed them
What
from
does
the
anybody
actual
think
series.
of? I actually enjoyed Season of the Witch because the more I look at it, it's really sort of an ode to the Hammer type horror.
Yeah, it's an old style 60s.
Plus, here we go. 5 more days till Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, the bratty kid who gets offed.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that song, I watched the making of Halloween 3 on the Blu-ray from Shout Factory, and that's actually the jingle, London Bridge is Falling Down, 6 more days to Halloween.
Oh, yes.
Huh.
It is, isn't it?
The jingle, because they didn't want to pay for copyright, so they just used the London Bridge is Falling
Sort
Down.
of like us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, yeah, I think they could have gotten away with not angering fans and could have continued the anthology if they just called it Halloween Season of the Witch instead of putting the 3 in front of it.
The story, I don't know if it's true or not. John Carpenter said what he envisioned was doing a seasonal Halloween film every year.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
That would have been cool.
Which is amazing to me because think about it. It's almost like Bill Willingham's comic book Fables, where nobody had this idea before about Halloween.
Yeah.
You would think it's ready-made. I mean, I can only think of, like, Trick or Treat, I thought was better than expected as a Halloween film.
Yeah, Trick or Treat was good. Charlie Brown's an asshole.
Now
That's
you
where
said
that
it.
came from.
You're the only one who hasn't said it, Adrian.
Well, there was an original Trick or Treat, which is on Amazon
yes, I
Prime
remember.
with David Carradine, and it's
There was. I do.
Ooh.
Do you know what it was about? I honestly
It came
don't.
out in the early 80s, but I have to see it. It's basically about a boy who plays pranks, like violent pranks. Well, not like towards her, but like he's been killed or something. And to the babysitter, and then his father, who's in a mental hospital, escapes, and he goes back to the house. I don't know. I have to see
That's
it,
a
but I know.
prerequisite, I think, now about having the the patient from the hospital escape.
Yeah.
But what
But I
about
know-
Satan's Little Helper?
Ay, qué fault.
I haven't seen that.
I got punched because of that movie.
That's how you have to check this one out.
Yeah,
now.
I literally got punched.
It is a Halloween movie, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
because
it's on Halloween.
yeah, because it was on Halloween, and it's
Yeah.
the guy, and I know the one, he cuts out a person's intestines and ties her to the chair, or ties him to the chair with his intestines. It's low budget at
And there's
best.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, what would you consider that?
I've heard from people who are big fans any time of the year because they have the seasonal stuff or
Right.
Halloween. That's what they were.
Oh, that's what it's called. There's a new like mockumentary. I saw the trailer for it yesterday. I didn't have any audio, but I know it's a mockumentary comedy horror film called Flesh Blanket. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's about this big fat guy or something, and it's about
not Hammy, is it?
No,
they're trying to collect all the comedians, and then there's this big fat guy, and then he starts killing the people. I don't know. I have to see the trailer.
Has anybody seen the Houses that October Built?
No.
It's a mockumentary, and what it's like is like these people who go around looking for haunted houses, and they come around these people who take it way too seriously, and they bury them.
Yeah, then there's trying to think of another good Halloween movie. I saw Night of the Demons. I have to see.
Our own Howlin' came up with that one on our other horror
Night of the
episode.
Demons is something.
Yeah, then there's I want to see Scarecrows. I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that.
I don't think I've seen that one either. Oh, there you go. That's
on Amazon Prime. That's on my list. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. I've been trying to get myself
That's
to.
pretty good.
I really enjoyed that movie.
I have to go get myself to see it.
Because that's good old. Oh hell! I just blanked on his name.
Oh, it's
Michael Roker.
That's
yes.
it, Michael Roker
From the
Roker.
Walking Dead. Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy now.
Yeah, but that was
Days of Thunder.
That
Yes.
was but not Days of Thunder, but Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer is a very, very good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yes, very based on a real guy too.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, and then there's I told you this before we started, but Prince of Darkness. I want to see John Carpenter's movie.
Oh,
I enjoy that one. I thought again,
it's
it's like a little hammer to the. I think it reminds me of the thing about with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing on the train.
Horror Express.
Yeah, Horror
Horror
Express a little
Express.
bit. Which is not a Hammer movie, by the way.
No, weirdly.
It's a Yugoslavian movie.
Well, we don't know what country that would be now.
But back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day it was Yugoslavia.
They were all Tito toddlers.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's quite a few. Trying to think of another. Oh yeah, I saw this one movie it's on Netflix. It's a new film. It's called Terrifier.
Yes, Relic. Last week in the Roundtable Horror discussion, or 2 weeks ago, mentioned the Terrifier.
It's a pretty twisted movie.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of American Horror Story? Then you like that? You watch that?
Nah, I don't.
It's gotten bad, I think.
I don't like any of the characters that they, in the storylines, but I do. But with Terrifier, I met the guy who plays Art the Clown in that movie at Para Horror in Buffalo, New York, and we're friends on Facebook. He's a really nice guy, and we could relate.
But the clown, is he scary?
Well,
he's creepy.
Yeah, he's.
It's not so much.
He doesn't talk. He's mute.
Yeah, it's not so much scary as it is just unnerving.
There was a question that came up last week. When did dolls and clowns become scary? Or they always been scary? 1980s.
I think probably. I would say the movie that kicked it off would be Child's Play movies.
Yeah, and then there's Dolls by Alex.
Oh, I love
Alex
that
Gordon.
movie. I can never find that one. I love that.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
free.
Puppet Master.
Puppet Master, the Toy Master.
Oh, then there's Dolly Dearest.
Oh God, that's a throwback. I remember Dolly Dearest.
Takes place in Mexico.
Yeah, the Mexican doll factory
Yeah.
that the family buys, and they go down there,
And it's possessed by an evil demon spirit.
They should do a horror movie about candy corn.
No, candy corn itself is a horror
because
movie.
it's the Halloween version of fruitcake, I would say. If there's anybody out there who actually likes it.
There is one horror movie that you mentioning food. I've never seen it. It's called Refrigerator or something about a killer refrigerator.
Heard of it.
I've heard of a killer piano movie. I've not heard about this
But no,
one.
that ranks up there for me with the inanimate object horror movies. Deathbed, The Bed That Eats.
Yeah.
Real Things, seen it. It's
Oh yeah, and then there's the Christine, but that's Stephen King territory.
Yeah, with the car.
Well, there's a new Pet Cemetery trailer out. It looks interesting.
Yeah, I didn't like the original one, but
No, not really. I've heard from Denise Crosby that Fred Gwynn was a really nice guy, though, which is nice.
And then there's also there's that. There's I'm trying to think of another horror movie that.
Well, since we're going into Halloween, though, you eventually want to do a Halloween documentary, like on Halloween.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tom Gleason says that he wants me to film it, and I'll give him the directing credit. I think he can hire me to edit it and film it, but I'll give the directional credit to him because maybe, I don't know. I mean, I just want Tom Gleason to be involved in it somehow because
Tom Gleason's Hamlin Horror. He was on.
Yeah, he was
before.
one of the high ups for the Hamlin Horror Fest or Scream Fest. Sorry. So
Yeah.
what's the premise of it? What does he want you to kind of do?
Well, I think film and edit it out. Hire me to do it, but yeah, it would have to be next Halloween because right now I have a documentary project. I filmed it. I interviewed the people. And now I'm editing it for my mom, which is about the local Rochester Lithuanian community. My mom's the director. And I'm the Special Needs Revolt movie, of course, next year. So those are going to take up a lot of my time. Plus, I have a new job. So
how is the community going now? Because I had a friend in high school and college who was deeply involved in the dancing and everything. And how is there like a big community thing there?
Well, the Rochester Lithuanian community, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but every time I'm part of it, it's not really a huge community, about 100 to 200 people or something, or maybe less, whoever shows up at the events. And they're mostly older people.
Because I know the Ukrainian community had a big thing about they called it the Yuki Fest down.
Yeah, the Ukrainian.
I used to actually live across the street from there, and the people really got into the culture. They had...
Well, interesting about the Lithuanians and the Rochester Lithuanian community, we have like two pagan festivals. One is in the springtime, which is, which is sort of like a Native American, but it's more tradition. It's a combination of the Native American stuff and our own culture from the pagan days. And then there's another one where we burn like a mannequin to end,
Like the Wicker Man?
Well, we burn...
I'm not going to be hauled away, am I? Be put in like a thing. It's like...
No, we burn like a mannequin. We go to like a park, and we burn a mannequin to end wintertime or something. I forget.
Doesn't work here. I'm sorry. It doesn't really.
In wintertime,
you have to try a little
No,
harder.
we can't even.
Rochester.
Yeah, we don't burn animals or anything like that.
So to end winter, you burn it in late May to end the winter.
In August in Rochester.
Yeah.
Maybe I think it's close to like March or something. Maybe March, April. I forget when it's still there's still a little snow.
That's interesting, though.
Well, in Rochester, there could be a little snow.
Yeah.
But one of the things about being Halloween, I had to bring this article.
Oh, yeah, I saw you with that newspaper article.
The stories about poison candy and everything. So the big thing this year are these brightly colored pills that they think are laced with stuff, or like opioids, which the heroin epidemic's gone. It's not opioids. But they're worried about marijuana because now technically marijuana is legal only in Canada, right?
Yeah, Canada recently legalized recreational marijuana.
But they think in Colorado, but then they'll eat their Halloween candy a lot faster if they get marijuana.
Yeah, exactly. The candy industry is going to be all... But here's the thing. Vegas. It's legal in Vegas.
But seriously...
And Vegas hasn't exploded into a den of
seriously,
crime
though, how
any
much
more
would
than it
this
already
really
has.
happen? I mean, have you ever heard of an incident of candy being razor-bladed or poisoned?
Well, like in the apple...
Except in Halloween.
Yeah, the old razor blade in the apple gimmick that we were told as kids to be
Well, actually, that was at the end of the movie.
It was in Halloween, too.
Night of the Demons, where the old crabby guy who the kids make, who pull pranks on the old lady... gives him an apple pie, and the razor blade comes out of his throat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, after he eats it.
Yeah, I remember. But
it's like you won't see it, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm cutting through this pie. What's this metal in here? I don't know what's happening.
To be honest, if we got apples, we're like, this is like getting a sweater for Christmas.
Yeah, we got apples.
We like chuck them at the house and break them in the road.
Something.
I think the statute of limitations is up now. I like that stuff we did for Halloween.
Yeah,
well, and plus there's that stuff that they think is candy. I mean, if you really want to be arrested and go to prison, there's that stuff you put in the washing machine the
Tide Pods.
I've heard of these.
Tide Pods. Yeah, if you put that in a kid's basket, you're liable to get some jail time.
Well, I mean, for God's sake, now that if people are that stupid that they're eating laundry detergent, we're in worse shape than we
My
thought we
view
were.
on that, I still have this view. When you're trick-or-treating, literally, you think you're out forever, but you're a kid. You're on a few neighborhoods. You're going to have an idea of some weird,
Yeah.
there's some weirdo who gives you this
Exactly.
thing.
So if something
Tide
happens,
Pods, yeah.
if something happens and you get sick from the candy, they're going to be able to narrow down who did it
Because we
pretty
used to
damn
hear
quick.
PCP and Nestle bars or pins.
Yeah, we heard of the
Oh, the swizzle sticks was a big one.
yeah
The
Or
swizzle
poisoning the candy.
yeah the old rat poison in the Reese's cups.
So
know,
what
stuff
was,
like
for
that.
trick-or-treating, what was the weirdest thing you ever got?
Oh,
Was there
Jesus.
anything
I would say
weird?
pencils.
Oh, you got
You
them?
got pen? Oh, I never had.
You ever hear
pencils.
about dentists giving out, like, toothbrushes? I
Yeah,
never
I
seen them.
know.
We saw that, or little mouthwash samples. But I know one friend, he would tell the story when he was trick-or-treating. There was a dentist in his neighborhood, and they thought, oh, great, we're going to get toothbrushes. No, he gave him full-size candy bars with a note with his business card taped to it. It's like, see you in the springtime.
I have
Like, that's brilliant.
I have two weird ones because the one of them was classic. There were these hippies who used to have this really cool haunted house by me. And what they would do to you, you go in, they give you a Snickers bar, it was in a balloon, and you, what the hell's giving it in a balloon for? So
Sure it wasn't LSD.
drugs. It was
a
turning into a giant rabbit. I remember the flashback. And
Are
what
we?
happened was you would forget it. When you put it in your bag, you would forget about it. So what would happen? You go down some houses. People would drop candy. They'd blow the balloon up. You'd freak. But then
Oh,
we
clever.
had a neighbor. Everybody's got the old neighbor. We had Mrs. Hotto, the old neighbor, who was like in her 90s. What she would do was she'd have you come in her house. She'd give you one of her classic lard cookies. She would they were made of lard. She would make applesauce, which had worms in it from the apples, and a Dixie cup of cider. But one year she made candy. She made like caramel apples. Her cat Honey Buns got in the apples, so you were getting the apple with hairs.
Oh. Well, that's, but then there's
And we did get the McDonald's fries coupons.
Yeah, we always get the coupons for like the small free small fry with purchase.
And I
of a
remember
restaurant
we
or
got this
something.
poor girl. We went into apartments by her house, and literally we caught her. She pulled out Bubblicious and gave us pieces. And started giving us pennies.
Well, it would be funny if you guys should try. If you're pranksters, you should try giving the kids trick gum. Like
Oh,
in
yeah.
like in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, that's
It exists still. There.
I've seen it. In
I wonder
some joke
now.
shops.
Everybody's so uptight. Like if somebody gave like.
A trick.
Like say
trick
you
or
gave
treat.
those Harry Potter jelly beans or something, and some kid
Oh, they would-
complained,
they
they'd
would-
be grousing all over.
Well, that and now it's like you see these commercials like stock up on Butterfingers for Halloween. We can't do that. What if a kid's allergic to peanuts?
Well, you should know if you get the candy,
No,
it's like
no.
freaking peanuts. Chuck it out. For
Yeah,
goodness
I mean
sake.
that's why I get like neutral candy.
Yeah,
I get the neutral candy for the
Yeah.
for the kiddies when they come by.
One year I did give out life-size candy bars for the big size, regular size candy bars for Halloween to the trick-or-treaters. They didn't seem to care, but you can buy them. You can still buy them. They're at BJ's, in the box.
Do you have a candy of choice you give out? Do you have like a special?
I always go Milky Ways.
Well, I always go crap and then keep the ones I like.
I like Snickers. I like Snickers and Kit Kat. Those are.
Ooh,
Oh,
there you
those
go.
rule. I love
Kit
them
Kat's a
both.
good choice.
Yeah.
But sometimes I get kids now, like literally, one of them tried to steal the candies, like opening the door, saying, "Hey, I'm giving them out, dude. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it."
Well, I remember a couple Halloweens when it was actually semi-decent. I would sit out in my driveway with the card table and the bowl of candy on the table, and I would have the cooler with my Halloween 12-pack.
Yeah. Speaking of me as when you were saying me as Michael Myers, one year, this was a long time ago when I was younger. I was handing out candy as Michael Myers, and there were these girls who, when they saw me, they screamed and ran away.
Well, I had my story for this one was I went to a costume party one time. Now, this was not on Halloween. It was around Halloween. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So I decided to dress in drag. So literally, I dressed in drag. Imagine me in drag. I'm going
Oh, I
down.
am, and it's
I'm
entertaining.
on the expressway. My car died.
Of course it
I
did.
literally jumped the fence. Now, understand this. I had to walk back to my house down by Lyle Avenue, which is known as Prostitute Central. A pickup truck stops and takes a look back. And I'm walking down
Come on,
in
Rob, you
drag,
could've made
not
$100
on
you could've made
Halloween,
$100 bucks on
wondering if I
Halloween.
get picked up by cops.
Well, on that note, speaking of that, let's talk about how, in my opinion, Halloween's kind of been ruined for kids.
I don't know if you think that or not, but I have.
I think adults have kind of taken Halloween over.
See, for me, I remember as a kid, and maybe it's a little bit childhood memory, it was now we barely get anybody.
Yeah.
I think last year I had a dozen people.
We worked bars, and this has to bring up a classic story of Zach when he was a doorman at Bar Unknown. It was not Halloween, but this goes in with it.
It was. I remember this. There was
true.
A bunch of people that came in. They were all wearing like kind of Victorian era clothing, not steampunk, but like Victorian era.
The cape.
The one guy had like a beautiful crushed velvet cloak, and I asked him for his ID, and he fed me some line about how the Dark Lord Satan isn't bound by your earthly identification. And I'm looking around to see if anybody in the bar is looking and looking
I was
at me
not
and
by
laughing.
him,
Like,
but I was looking and I saw this. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
and I was like, it gave me pause. One of the few things it ever did. And I said, well, the Dark Lord of the bar says, give me your ID or you're not coming in. So he hands me some card of his ID card from the Rochester Church of Satan. At which point I lose. I'm like, get the hell out. So he does the old Count Chocula cloak over the thing, followed by come minions, and they all stalk out. And I was waiting for somebody at the bar to come up and start laughing and say, we got you. Nobody did. I think it was a legit serious thing.
And I could tell you from being a doorman, Halloween is like a blackout drunk fest now. It's no fun. It's literally not. It's like they've taken it over where it's like another St. Patrick's
Well,
Day.
actually, Halloween can still be fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm
I
not
mean,
disagreeing.
well, because I wish it wasn't so expensive.
That's
It's like,
the problem.
is the Spirit Halloween store? You know, have you guys ever been to?
Well, what do you think about now in terms of back in the day? I know when I was a kid, I got
Party City was cool.
I got
but-
this. Remember Arlene's? That's another one.
Yeah,
Probably-
Arlene's is cool too.
But back in the day, I got this book. It was like about making costumes. There was like a big alligator man would use egg things, and I made a man from space, paper mache. Like
yeah, they were
fell
those.
on my ass
Yeah,
all over
this
'cause I
was
couldn't
before
see.
the internet, where there were
Yeah.
books
Yeah,
on how to
actually-
make your own
and
zombie
you would go to
makeup.
Gold Circle, and you get like I got a lightsaber.
You can make your own zombie
But
makeup
now
and
it's all
stuff.
pro.
All these books, yeah.
And you mentioned it, the cost.
Now it's all tutorials on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, but the cost of a good costume anymore is ridiculous.
Yeah, and
I mean, when I was a kid, my mom made me a dice costume by painting a cardboard box white and putting dots on it and cutting holes out for my head. I'm serious. I was a
cardboard
dice.
And
box.
I have a thing,
Yeah.
and I admit some people disagree with me, but I've had a couple times adults come to my house trick or treating, looking, aren't we cute? Okay, this is just
Yeah, no.
well, there was one time because this was way back in 1997. I remember for Halloween because I wasn't really allowed to watch the more extreme horror movies. So one year I watched the classic Universal, and I went as the Invisible Man with the glasses and the thing on my face.
Oh, like
for
yeah,
Halloween.
the bandages or whatever he wore.
Yeah, and
I went to a couple Halloween parties like that. I didn't want to go, so I told them I was the Invisible Man, didn't show up.
See, that's funny.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite? Was that your favorite of the Universals?
I would say Frankenstein because
It's not Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein.
but because I really liked the Frankenstein. My mom went to the library once and got on VHS by Rhino Home Video Frankenstein: A Cinematic Scrapbook, where it was all the Frankenstein trailers up until
Oh, that would have been cool.
like I
There's
saw.
actually, get this out of the library. They have Grandpa, Al Lewis,
Yeah.
Monsters. He does a thing, an hour of all it is old trailers for horror movies.
That would
Oh,
be
cool. Well, this was before YouTube, but I saw. I said, I need to collect all the Frankenstein movies. So, like, I learned about the Hammer trailer, like Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, Lady Frankenstein, then when it came to Frankenhooker, my mom said, and Andy Warhol's Frankenstein, she says, no, you can't get those.
Andy Warhol's
you can't
Frankenstein's
rent, you can't-
hardcore.
I never saw
You
it. but
can't rent those movies. They're inappropriate for you.
The
so I have
proper
to
name
wait.
is Flesh for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I
With Udo
remember.
Kier.
I remember seeing Frankenhooker.
Have you ever seen Brian Aldiss' Frankenstein Unbound?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
different.
remember Frankenstein Unbound. But my mom, she said because I used to go to the video stores hunting down for these Frankenstein movies, and I'd record them 3 movies to a VHS tape.
I used to
Oh,
do
yeah,
it
when
too.
you put it on
put
the
them on
EP.
I used to do that.
Put
too.
it on the EP setting and then
What
tear
about
out that little
Abbott
tab.
Costello beat Frankenstein? I guess it was supposed to be Frankenstein's brain. It was going to be a real sequel.
Yeah.
Then and that's how I learned about Blackenstein, was from that Rhino home video. Was Frankenstein, Frankenstein, a cinematic
What is
scrapbook.
this movie about? I never saw it.
Blackenstein?
I'll explain what it is. It's stupid. I mean, it came out in 1973, and it's on DVD now with the part of Severin or something, where they interview the guy who wrote the script, Frank Seletri's sister. The guy was actually murdered in his home by, I think it was a mob thing, but the movie is about the fiance of this guy, who's black, who lost his limbs stepping on a landmine in the Vietnam War. So Dr. Frank, she takes him back to his mansion or whatever, which looks pretty cool, but in Burbank or LA or whatever, and they put his limbs back together, and they have the serum. He gives him the serum to make to make his limbs move and stuff. And then this assistant of Dr. Frank, who's a black guy, is jealous, and he's in love with her. And then she turns him down, and like a jerk an asshole, he pollutes the serum that they inject him with, and it turns him into the monster, and he goes out and kills white people, black, whatever. And
I think Blackula might be better.
Nah, Blackenstein is an experience.
Well, I was a teenage Frankenstein too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Blackenstein, it's basically, in the version the one I saw in the movie, he kills the guys, but when he kills the women, he rips out their intestines and eats them. And he's
If you want to see one, there's one called Frankenstein versus Dracula. It's launching. Oh
yeah, that was.
And that monster looks like a pile of garbage or something.
Yeah, that Troma distributed that one too.
I own it.
But then there was Frankenstein's daughter.
Frankenstein, the True Story with Michael Cera, which actually tried to be serious. And what happens, he comes out attractive, but he falls apart.
Yeah, that was a little more faithful to the book. Somewhat.
Yeah, the book, everybody thinks it's Boris Karloff, but he looked more like the Golem.
Yeah, no, actually, I would say Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with Robert De Niro.
Because he's all body parts.
But that one wasn't that good, that true to the book either.
No, but I mean, for the character-wise, he looked more like what he would be. He wouldn't be this massive green thing with the bolts on his neck. He would be a golem.
Because in the book, remember, he was intelligent, he learned, but also in the book, they never reveal how he does it. He won't reveal the secret of life.
No.
Where everybody thinks it's the lightning
But it's not. The lightning jump-started it, but it wasn't it.
No.
Yeah. And let me think of some other terrible Frankenstein movies.
I,
Frankenstein? Or no, Victor Frankenstein.
I, Frankenstein was worse. That's unwatchable. It's horrifying.
There's...
Do you have a favorite Universal monster?
Lady Frankenstein.
No, you do, but do you?
Probably the creature.
I do too. I like the creature.
That was good special effects for its time.
Well, yeah, for its time.
Well, if you want unfaithful, the original Dracula with Bela was unfaithful.
Yeah. But no, I would.
That one I admit I don't like as much anymore.
I didn't like the one with Bela Lugosi. It was corny, really corny.
I saw it again recently, and I was very, very disappointed by it. It was just not...
Well, actually, the Spanish version is better.
I've seen it.
I've seen the Spanish version.
You know they have Universal, the Monsters collection.
Yeah, I
get them all.
I have it's an 8-pack on a Blu-ray of all the old Universal monsters.
Well, then there were the DVD that was the original DVD set was in a green box or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of there was Frankenstein Meets the Space Monster, which was basically an android. That's by Dark Sky Films. It was released on DVD. And
you also know War of the Gargantuas in Japan is where the Frankensteins.
Yeah, Frankenstein conquers the world.
Oh, thanks. Some idiot got me that it's a Christmas present one year.
You're welcome.
You know who played the monster and that it was Darth Vader. It was David Prost.
No, that wasn't the movie. That was the Japanese film.
Oh, yeah. The Japanese, the horrifying Frankenstein, the monster from hell.
Yeah, Frankenstein, the monster from hell.
That one, the one with Frankenstein, where they mail his heart over to Japan.
And then doesn't somebody eat it or something?
Yeah, kid, and then he gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, because he ate the heart.
Or something. And then there's...
that was a movie.
Then there's Frankenstein's Castle of Freaks.
I have that on one of my crappy... It's on the...
Something Weird video. And
Joe Hodgson, the Cinema Titanic.
Oh, it's
It's on
Cinematic
that
Titanic
one.
did it. Oh, awesome! I have that.
Yeah, and the thing is that,
Not that awesome,
and then
if you think about it.
Michael Dunn is in from Wild Wild West. He's in that film.
That Frankenstein. He's
The
in,
little person,
Yeah, he's
the
in
dwarf.
Frankenstein. Dr. Lovelace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Lovelace.
He's in Frankenstein versus Dracula, the cheesy one.
And he's also in Frankenstein's Castle Freaks. I don't think it was that guy. I think it was another little person. I forget. But
Well, Billy Barty, in The Bride of Frankenstein, he was the baby when he was really young. And remember, Dr. Pretorius makes those little people?
Yeah.
He's the baby.
Oh, I did not know that.
I
He
did not
also is
know
an
that.
evil imp in The Undead, which I just saw. And
Yeah,
I
the
did know that
undead.
one.
Yeah,
I did
You
know
like
that
Mystery
one.
Science Theater?
yeah,
That's a great show.
Yeah, we're both crazy fans.
yeah. I
We're-
just saw yesterday. I was showing my mom was the Creeping Terror from Mystery Science Theater, and the interesting thing about that movie is there's a bibliography making of with it's part bibliography and part documentary where they interview the real people and then they have actors portraying them, and it's called The Creep Behind the Camera. And the guy Vic Savage who made that movie or whatever, he was a real con man, a piece of shit,
Well,
he beat his wife. He abused her.
great.
well, it's
He
like
was
the guy
horrible.
from Jeepers Creepers, like a pervert or
Yeah,
something.
he got arrested for
But the
messing with
creeping
little kids.
Yeah, but the Creeping Terror is just an awful movie. You
Yes, it is.
almost have to watch it through Mystery Science
Basically,
Theater.
people being
to
eaten by a
watch
moving
it.
giant carpet.
Yeah.
Well, and another one of those movies, I've seen it without Mystery Science Theater behind it, and it hurt, was Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Yeah.
So if you're going to watch that movie, if you're forced to watch that movie, do it with the Mystery Science Theater guys.
I was going to ask a question, too, for Halloween. Now, you mentioned Spirit Halloween. What's the best haunted house you ever seen around?
I was just going to get to the haunted houses. There are people, if you've seen these documentaries, who do their own Halloween decorations, mannequins, and haunted houses. I don't know if you've seen, it's on,
Yeah.
where they have people in the neighborhood, they have their house, they build into like a haunted house attraction. It's become a thing, but
Yeah, we had one by our house, and some snooty neighbors called the cops because it got a lot of traffic. Ruined it
course.
for everybody.
Of
It was a
course.
thing every year. But go on.
yeah, it's. There was one in Hilton, a guy who built these huge his whole yard was filled with mannequins and Halloween decorations and stuff. It was really cool. Then there was another guy who used to be in my neighborhood, and a long time ago, somebody stole one of his mannequins. And it was in my neighborhood, but there are some people who do that stuff, and they also have haunted houses. I forget the name of that documentary I saw on Netflix, or maybe it's on Amazon Amazon now. It's about people who do their own haunted houses in their neighborhoods and have the go extreme.
Yeah, see, unfortunately, I can't recall ever having one like that when I was a kid. Nobody in the neighborhood really did a haunted house.
Yeah, there was that one. We also there's a couple that advertised in Greece, and they used to have one down at the fairgrounds. Where
Oh, yeah, and the haunted hay rides.
I ran from that one, though.
Yeah,
That one-
the haunted hayride out in Williamson. Good old, our doctor of clownometry works out there.
Yep.
Relic the Clown.
Yeah, I actually did a haunted hayride myself where I played like a dead zombie guy popping out of a canister. It was in Bergen, New York, and on a friend of mine's property on their farm.
They also have this thing I don't want to do that's becoming popular about shooting zombies. They had it at the horror fest.
Yeah,
I don't want to
did
get shot.
that.
Paintballs hurt, man.
I did that. Maybe they have protective gear.
They would have to, some sort of padding.
It
because
does hurt,
those
especially
hurt.
they do hurt.
And they're getting pelted a lot.
Yeah, in the head.
Yeah, they have
You
to
got to
have
have,
some-
because that you will get a welt that will, because I got shot by somebody before like that. You'll see like it'll swell up.
Yeah,
like
it welts
this.
for a week or
Yeah.
And I think the guns now are probably a little nastier than we played.
so. Yeah, they're probably like actually designed to destroy things. And then those paintballs, they're hard.
Yeah.
I mean, because they have to be hard to survive coming out of the barrel.
But I like
with all
that. I
that
like
pressure.
the sense of fun still of that kind of stuff for the haunted houses. I think
is.
it makes it. It's like something neat. And I don't like. I think kids are so sheltered these days. I hope they get the sense of fun from it too.
Yeah.
Because I don't want little Buffy here to be scared or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little Fauntleroy. That's
Yeah,
that's my go-to name.
And then I also was part of they don't do it anymore, but at my karate school that I go to, we every October, not Halloween Day, but in October we would do a haunted house as a charity fundraiser. I would scare the people, and
Well, I can say my first time I ever got in serious trouble in school was in kindergarten because I went to Catholic schools and we had a Halloween party. I went as a witch, and they did not like the early. They always
the witchcraft.
No, because I was a male and I was dressed female.
Because he was dressed as a female.
And they used to take my thing in my wig and take it off, and I couldn't understand why. And they're all, they didn't get into that as much.
Well, you should have been a warlock.
Yeah, but
a wizard or something.
I didn't think of it then. I wanted to dress in drag. I liked it.
Yeah.
I used to like to wear a pink nightgown.
Maybe they wouldn't have gotten hard on you if you dressed as a wizard.
That one out.
No, keep that in.
No, keep it in. You should. Maybe they wouldn't have been so hard on you if you were a wizard or a warlock.
Well, they got all the stuff in
then
Catholic
they
schools
would've gone
about
the occult
Satanism and
Yeah,
stuff. I got in
yeah.
trouble for Iron Maiden. They all pulled all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that going back to Greetings from Tromaville, that my film Greetings from Tromaville, along with Lloyd Kaufman's Return to Nukem High Volume 2, is going to be shown, together November 16th at the Little Theater here in Rochester.
We'll have to
and
go.
it starts at 6:30.
That's good to...
The other thing is, Kaufman endorsed your stuff, didn't he? Didn't he help you with the fundraiser a little bit?
Yeah, he was in the Indiegogo page. I don't know if you saw the Vimeo.
I saw that.
Those are getting big at the Little. I saw PJ Souls for the Halloween one last year.
Yeah.
It was sold out really quick, so get your tickets on this.
Well, with that, we'll start to wrap this one up. The Indiegogo thing, I will post a link to it in the description and all the links.
How can we reach you and everything again? Tell everybody.
Let me see my brochure I gave you. So you can reach me on Facebook. I go by my alias name on Facebook is Adrian Esposito Nomeika, Nomeika, and if you don't know how to spell Esposito, it's Esposito.
How do you spell Nomeika? That'd be more difficult.
Yeah, because I found you on there.
And you can see, if you're interested in seeing my website, it's espocinema.com. It's all one word, ESPO Cinema. And my films are also on Amazon.com. And I think I'm just hoping I can do the special needs revolt. And also, I would like to leave off with saying that I don't know if it's a good idea, because Greg Lamberson and some people, filmmakers have told me, well, just two so far have said it, you're going to divide your audience. But I think it's been in the back of my mind writing a script for 3 of these movies, like have a horror trilogy, like the Night, Dawn, Day of the zombie movies.
Yeah.
Except to evolve it like a horror movie thing around Trump. Like the first movie would be like the 2000 Maniacs,
Oh yeah.
Except the whole town would be like they'd all be Trump supporters and kill people who are liberals who come into their town, like in that or something like that. The second movie would be about sort of like the Manson family. Except they go after
like the
Trump supporters.
Kind of cult of personality type thing.
Yeah, I mean, Trump supporters and stuff. And I don't know what the third one would be, but I don't know. I'd have to do talk to some friends to see if that would even be a good idea, if anyone would want to do it.
Well, if you have a sense of fun about it,
That's
I can go for any political thing and take it for what it is and go, hey, he's having fun with it, too.
Yeah. It's not, it's just a movie.
It's just a movie. That's the end of the day. It's a movie.
Yeah, and if you guys have any ideas on that, I'll post a link to...
And the other thing, mention the Little. How did people get a hold if they want to get tickets for that Little thing? It sounds interesting. I know Little Theaters got
Would it be on their website? Or?
Yeah, you could go to the Little Theater website, or you could contact me. And I hope there's a big turnout. I hope there is enough of a Troma fan base here in Rochester that people will be interested to see not only my film, but the Return to Nukem High Volume 2
They had
film
Class of Nukem High there last year.
Yeah,
I think
did it do a good turnout?
Yeah,
I think it was
Pauline, my friend Pauline.
I think it may have been sold out.
Thanks.
But yeah, I'll post links to all that.
Yeah.
So check it out. Sounds interesting. Go to his website. Check out his films on Amazon. Especially, like I said, Greetings from Tromaville was entertaining. Go to the Indiegogo page, donate, help get Special Needs Revolt made.
As we say, these are the kind of films we want to see. You don't want to just go see the generic garbage. You got to make them yourself. You got to help.
Exactly, because then it's a passion project and it actually is going to be good rather than, we got to pump another one of these turds out every couple of years to keep the rights rolling.
Yeah. So, and by the way, the movie part of that trilogy I want to do, the one about the Manson family type it's called I already have a title for it. It's called V for Vengeance.
Ooh.
Yeah. But that's yet to be known if it's ever going to be made.
Yeah, you'll see.
TBD right now.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I can tell you a little bit. It's from doing films. You have to be patient sometimes. Sometimes it can take years.
Yeah.
It can take you 5-10 years to make something. So you just have to be patient. And when it comes to fruition, it does.
And I also have I already have a script, but it needs more pages for a movie I wrote called Special Ed of the Dead.
See, there you go. That is something I'll watch.
Yes.
Yeah, and basically what that is about in a nutshell, because I know we're running out of time, but that's about during the zombie apocalypse when it starts, the zombies attack a special ed school and only a handful of students manage to escape and fend for themselves out in the zombie-ridden world. I mean, Rochester.
It's sort of like what we do now.
Yeah, zombie-riddled Rochester. Every day we go through it. But on that, I'm going to do my shameless plug to our sponsor once again. He's still with us.
If you were attacked by a zombie, go to him.
If you were attacked by a zombie, Upsetting and Associate Law Offices, lawyers for you, the people, from D.C. to Alaska, all points in between, even in the zombie apocalypse. Find them on Facebook, Upsitnik and Associates, upsitnikslaw.com. I am Zach. That's Rob. Adrian, thanks for coming by. Your projects sound good. I'm going to post a lot of links in the description, so go check everything out. And anybody have anything else?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloweeny, everybody, and we'll see you in November.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Yep.